Do you want to be able to make beautiful and delicious cocktails for dry January that are pretty much as good as the real thing? Do you also want to know more about the history of dry January? Then you are in the right place, my friend. I'm Sarah. This is Historically Drinking, and this week we are going to be making an amazing mandarin syrup that we will then make 3 very different dry cocktails out of. If you like this sort of content, booze-soaked history, then hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell after it to find out when future episodes are released. Let's head over to the Historically Drinking kitchen so we can make our delicious mandarin syrup. Follow me. I'm making an easy mandarin or tangerine syrup. I've started by zesting 6 mandarins. So I just took my zester and rubbed the skin of all of them against this. I didn't try to do a perfect job, just good enough to get a good amount of zest in here. And then I juiced them all into the pot. So you can kind of see the juice and the zest in there. Next, I'm going to add 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, pinch, a little extra. Okay, now let's heat up our mixture. My mixture is just starting to come to a simmer. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it down, turn it off, and I'm making sure all of the sugar is dissolved into the water, which it is. Now, this is the secret ingredient. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sherry vinegar to this. There we are. Whew, I made a mess. This gives the syrup a nice pop of acidity, which gives it some balance that makes it taste even better in the drinks that we make with it. Now I'm going to let this cool, and then when it's done cooling, I'll come back and we'll strain it. All right, here we go. This is all ready to put into a jar, label with its name and date, and get started making some cocktails with. Welcome back to the bar. Let's get started on our cocktails. So all 3 of these are going to be made on the same non-alcohol drink template. This is a very useful template to know because you can take this into the rest of your life and make your own non-alcoholic cocktails. So the template is this. It's 1.5 ounces of sweet, 1.5 ounces of sour, and 3 ounces of carbonation. So of course, our mandarin syrup is going to be the sweet in all of our drinks. First, we're going to make something for the gin and tonic or the vodka tonic drinkers out there. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of our mandarin syrup. There we go. And then we're going to squeeze some fresh lemon juice. All right, and 1.5 ounces. I'm just going to shake this up with a little bit of ice. It doesn't need too much shaking. Then before I put that in, I'm I'm going to add my tonic water. So adding the tonic water into the glass before adding the other ingredients will actually help it all mix together all on its own. It'll mix together better with the tonic water on the bottom. A note on tonic water, I'm using Canada Dry. It's not terrible, but really for the best bubbles, I recommend getting like Fever Tree tonic water is excellent. It's really, really highly carbonated with little bubbles, and it stays very bubbly for much longer. So I would recommend going that route. All right, now I'm going to do something that's called a dirty dump. What it is when you use ice to shake your drink with, and then you just dump that ice right into the cocktail. My ice is borderline big enough for this. If you're using small ice to shake with, then you don't want to do this. You want to strain your drink off of the ice, because that smaller ice will be so broken up that it'll melt really fast and dilute your drink more. Whereas if you have bigger ice, it'll maintain its solid form for longer. The benefit to doing this is that it's good for the earth. It uses water and it uses energy to make ice. So the less water and energy we can waste, the better. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give this just a tiny little stir. And let's taste it. Oh, that's good. Oh, but I forgot something, didn't I? I didn't put the garnish on. So what I want to do for the garnish for this is make a fancy orange peel. So I'm getting a nice swath of peel from my lemon, and I'm just going to use my knife to trim along the ends and the sides, give it a nice sort of uniform shape. And then I'm cutting a slit down the middle. The slit isn't going to go quite to each end. So there you go, you can see. There's the slit, yes, but both ends are still intact. And what this lets me do is put it right on the edge of the glass, like so. Here we go, isn't that beautiful? Now you do want to put this, put the outside of the peel facing up, because the outside of the peel is where all the oils are, so you get a lot of aroma from those oils. You want that aroma, those oils, close to your nose. So there's number one. Okay, for our second non-alcoholic cocktail with the mandarin syrup, we're gonna make something for you mojito drinkers. All right, so again, we're gonna start with 1.5 ounces of our mandarin syrup. Oops, that's a bit much. There we go. And now we want 1.5 ounces of lime juice. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the lemon. I'm going to cut it. And then I'm just going to squeeze it right through my strainer and into my jigger. All right. There we go. I've got 1.5 ounces of lime juice. So I'm going to put that in. And again, I'm going to use a little bit of ice in here. This one I'm going to put in this beautiful wine glass. Oh, I didn't add the mint. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some mint leaves and just shake these in. Now you notice I'm not taking the bottommost leaves. The bottom leaves tend to have some more bitterness to them, and I don't want to add that bitterness to this drink, so I'm going to leave them out. Let's give it another little shake. All right. And again, I'm just going to roll this right in. I'm going to use the dirty dump. So for the soda, I'm using Topo Chico, which, okay, Topo Chico. Topo Chico is my favorite soda for cocktails. It's super highly carbonated. It is so carbonated, it can be a little hard to drink on its own sometimes. So the bubbles, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it from there, but the little tiny bubbles that are just constantly rising to the top. This is a beautiful carbonated water. So I'm going to add 3 ounces of this, and it would have been better if I would have added it before I added the other ingredients, but what are you going to do? And just I'm going to give it a little bit more of a stir to get it mixed together. Okay, and our mint. Now, us bartenders, we slap this mint, not just because it's fun, but also because it it breaks up the oils that are in the mint and starts releasing all of those aromas that you get from it. All right, let's try it. Oh, that is fantastic. That's an excellent one for the summer. It's an excellent recipe to keep in your back pocket. Okay, so for our last non-alcoholic cocktail, we're going to use something super fun for this one. First, of course, we'll start with our mandarin syrup, 1.5 ounces. And then, so each of these drinks has had its sour component. We've used lemon, lime. These are the most common things to use for a sour component in a cocktail. Hibiscus juice is also a great way to add that sour part to your drink. To make hibiscus juice, you get dried hibiscus leaves, which I've always found both in Chicago and in LA at my local Hispanic supermarket. So here in LA, I got it at Vallarta. And so you can see they're labeled Jamaica, so you could find them under different things. They could be called hibiscus or Jamaica or sorrel. They go by all of those names, and they come in a big bag. You take 5 ounces of these and you boil them in 2 quarts of water. Then after they've boiled for a few minutes, you refrigerate them in the water and leave them refrigerated for anywhere from 6 hours to 3 days. The longer, the better. And then when you're done, you strain the water off of the hibiscus leaves, and you're left with this beautiful, deep red juice. And it has this just wonderful sour aspect to it. So that's what we're going to use for this drink. We'll pour 1.5 ounces. All right, and before I even get to shaking this, I'm going to go ahead and add our ginger ale. So we're going to do 3 ounces of ginger ale in this one, and I'm just going to pour it right in. Now, I'm using these 3 different types of glassware because I wanted to put all these drinks into really fun vessels for cocktails to make it feel more like we're drinking a real cocktail. Or so you could really choose to put it in whatever you want to. All right, let's shake this with a little bit of ice. And then I don't want the ice in this drink, so I'm just going to strain it right in. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And to garnish this, I'm going to use one of the dried hibiscus flowers. So they're kind of all rolled up when you take them from the bag, and you can unroll them and then just stick it right down on the edge of your glass, like so. There we go. Oh, I think that's my favorite. It's so good. So there's our 3 drinks. So remember this template. 1.5 ounces sweet, 1.5 ounces sour, and 3 ounces of carbonation. If you are not participating in Dry January and you want to make these delicious alcoholic drinks instead of delicious non-alcoholic drinks, all you have to do is cut all of the ingredients in half and then add 2 ounces of the alcohol of your choice. I would recommend a clear spirit like vodka, gin, or a white rum. Dry January is really a pretty new idea. The idea of quitting drinking for a short amount of time, only to then return to drinking, is really pretty novel, and especially as something to do for your health. In the past, people's philosophies on drinking was more, they would moderate their drinking by drinking less over a long period of time. There was no thought of moderating drinking for just a short amount of time and then going right back to however they used to drink before. The only thing is Lent. During Lent, when, of course, it's a religious time when people give up something that they love for 40 days, and it is common to give up alcohol during this time. That's not for health benefits so much as for religious purposes, but it is that idea of giving up drinking for just a short amount of time. The first time that I could find that we really see the concept of Dry January specifically is in 1942, when the Finnish government had Sober January as part of its war effort against the Soviet Union, but it disappeared as a concept immediately after that. It was resurrected, it seems, at least in the popular eye, by a woman named Emily Robinson in 2011. She was a UK runner who was preparing to run her first half marathon. And as part of that preparation, she decided to do a Dry January. And she reported great benefits. She said that she was sleeping better, she had lost weight, and she had more energy. After that, it really started to catch on. In fact, the UK charity Alcohol Concern ran a Dry January campaign for 2013, and it was so successful that in 2014, they trademarked the term Dry January. Now, Dry January is very popular in the UK. It's also very popular in the US. I have seen it rise from something being unheard of to something so common. So many people I know participate in Dry January. I, in fact, have participated in Dry January many times. Well, sort of. I started participating in Dry January a number of years ago, but then quickly realized that as a member of the bar community, we are often very busy through the holidays, all the way through New Year's Day, and then our business hits a slump. So we do a lot of our industry holiday celebrating after the holidays are over in January. So Dry January, I found, not necessarily the most ideal time. So now for a bunch of years, I've actually been doing Dry February. You know what? It's also the shortest month of the year. So, what do you think? Maybe do dry February with me? All right. Well, would you like more non-alcoholic recipes? Either for dry January or just because you would just like to have more because you don't want to drink alcohol all the time. Let me know in the comments, because if you do, I will do another one of these videos. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Historically Drinking, and I'll see you next time. Bye.